Hello, I am back. Hi guys, it's good to see you again through this digital medium, pixel refraction, information technology, whatever. Yeah, so as per usual, I've been incredibly inconsistent in uploading videos on this channel, so to my subscribers, I have to apologize for being the worst YouTuber ever. I hope you can forgive me. And I guess I don't have an excuse, really. Well, I do, but I don't want to go into details. Um, but yeah, in many ways, I'm still not even sure what I'm doing with this YouTube channel. I have so much ideas and so much sometimes just like, oh my gosh, I could really do something incredible. And then I don't. Or I get sidetracked, I get distracted, I go off on a tangent. And most recently, I've been having a kind of issues with the internet itself in general, and the way that it is becoming so pervasive in society, and I just wanted to get away from the whole damn thing for a while. And I mean that in kind of an absolute sense, because even when I'm not uploading videos on here, I'm still usually online, or I still spend a lot of time online, doing other things. Like most people, the internet has become a kind of just a daily part of the furniture, it's something it just becomes habitual. But what I want to talk to you guys about is the fact that there's a price to pay with the internet. And there's also, I also don't like how the internet is creating this kind of strange collective hive mind that seems to be reflective of real life and society, or at least it presents itself to be, but really is anything but. And what is the dangerous thing is this kind of alternate reality of real life is now becoming more real to people than real life is. People are spending more of their lives online than they are being aware of their own existence. And that is not a good thing. I don't think that can ever really be argued as being a good thing unless you really are a proponent of humanity being absorbed into the I don't know what they call it, the singularity or whatever, the collective hive intelligence mind. If that's what you want, and I know there are people who really believe that's the future. A lot of the people in Silicon Valley are talking like that, that humanity's existence and future depends on us merging with machines, which I absolutely hate the idea of. That's what many people are prophesizing is the future. So I just wanted to kind of say some things from a different point of view and relay to you some of my own experiences of recently spending less time online and less time on the internet itself, and having internet holidays, which I think everyone should take. And I think internet holidays should become as important to you as your holidays in reality. If you are going on holiday this year, you're going to a beach, or you're going to another country, or you're going to a music festival, or whatever you're doing, make sure you pencil in an internet holiday. I implore you, do it. And I'm pointing a stick at you, which means that I'm doubly serious. Well, that would be triply serious. Yes. Anyway, so what has brought all of this on? It's kind of been a slow boil, because for me, I was, I think, 13 or 14 when broadband internet really came into being, and really things just changed overnight. Beforehand, the internet and computers were kind of awkward, they were geeky, they were kind of crude. And I remember when I went to school, we'd have one computer that we'd occasionally use, but it was kind of rubbish and slow and clunky. And when you ever used the internet, websites were just the most pixelated things ever. You couldn't even look at a photograph because it was just this mishmash of pixels. And it would always make this funny sound because it was dial-up internet. So it was like just like that, exactly like that. Which any of you kids born, I don't know, after 1995 probably have no conception of and have never heard in your life. So I was really the first wave of this millennial generation, I guess you could say, who kind of went through the experience of starting to grow up with technology, whilst still being young enough to be not really have an experience of not living without it. So whilst my childhood was kind of internet free, the internet became a daily occurrence in my teenage years. In fact, I'll be honest with you, my first real memory of using the internet was going around a friend's house, because he had dial-up internet, and you know, what do you expect two 13-year-old boys to do when they're left at home with an internet connection? We looked at boobs. You know, that was my first memory. We were looking at boobs, and it would probably take 3 minutes for a single picture of a pair of breasts to slowly appear on our screens. Good times. But my God, how things have changed in that regard. But yeah, it just went nuts. It went nuts. The internet became suddenly this cool thing. Suddenly it opened up. I don't need this. This YouTube came into being. Social media, Hotmail, MSN, all of these things came out of nowhere, and suddenly the internet was cool. It was what most people were spending their time on, and then at the same time you had the whole phone technology development happening. You know, I still remember the days of the Nokia 3210 and playing Snake and stuff like that. And now you look at what a smartphone does, and it's just like mind-blowing, really. But there's a price to pay with this, and the price to pay is the fact that more and more of us are spending such amount of time online, because it is addictive by its very nature. It is hard to balance your use of being online because it's addictive, and that's having an effect on our actual reality, our actual world. And what I don't like is that oftentimes the internet provides a platform that seems to be related to reality, and seems to be a good way of connecting, and seems to be a way for people to further communicate with each other and to forge international connections. But oftentimes what actually happens is the internet brings out the worst in people. It gives them a medium to which to say things that they would never say to people face to face in real life. And all of the negativity that has produced, all of the hatred, and in relation to what is happening in the world itself, all of the fear that the internet magnifies tenfold, if not 100-fold, if not 1,000-fold, is all condensed to this online world. And if you are hooked into that all of the time, it alters your perception of reality. It feeds in a story and an imagery and opinions about reality that are really unfounded in reality, because the people who are expressing them are not, are doing it in a way that is just so one-sided. And I just become tired of it. In so many ways I've become really tired of that, and also become tired of how it has taken me away from the reality of my own life in many cases, and wanting to reconnect to just simpler times. And when I hear about all of these plans for this smart world that we're heading towards, the Internet of Things, where everything is connected, like literally everything. Your flipping fridge freezer's connected to the internet, your toasters are connected to the internet. That doesn't excite me. That doesn't make me feel well myself up with all of this, oh wow, look how exciting the world is, look how free we're becoming with all our new technology. It actually frightens me. I really don't want to be a part of it, because when I look around at the actual real life effects, the tangible effects the internet seems to have had on people's lives, more often than not, I think it's had a negative effect on many people's lives. I think it has helped to erode what was left of real face-to-face community in many places. One thing you notice if you spend a amount of time offline completely, one thing I noticed was that a lot of my kind of background social anxiety started to disappear, and I actually had this natural urge to just seek out humans to talk to. I would have way more spontaneous interactions with people when I was out and about, and it was just such a more satisfying feeling than just purely communicating online. Now, it's when you look at the levels of mental health disorders and depression and anxiety around the world, the numbers have gone nuts. You know, it's like it is tripled over the last 10, 20 years, and I think the internet has a big part to play in that, certainly, because it's as real as it feels like when you're communicating with people online, and as instantaneous as the gratification is, it's not the same. And someone told me something recently that really hit home about this, and really, I think, solidifies it, is that he told me that he'd spent a long time away from his country, abroad. I was abroad with him at the time, actually, and he was telling me how whilst he was abroad, he would stay in contact with his girlfriend back home by Skyping. So he might be away for 6 months, and they would Skype really regularly. They really worked hard to keep that connection through Skype. And when he would go home, even if he just went home, for a week or whatever, he said that when he actually saw her again in the flesh, it felt like they were starting off from the exact time and space where they left off physically last time. He said even though all that time we'd spoken to each other on Skype, it wasn't like we carried on from our last Skype conversation. It was like, regardless of where we might have gone with that, it was only when I saw her in real physical life that it felt like I knew her again, in a way, and we were just starting off from where we left off that last time I saw her and talked to her physically. And that is so often the case. It is so often the case. It's just, you just can't, the internet just cannot recreate that. And another thing to do with something that I was going to say, but I've lost it out of my head. Oh God, please come back. It was going to be, oh yeah, that was it. Another thing that I heard someone say, which again just made me realize just how nuts and crazy this whole, this world is becoming. Someone wrote an article, and they were saying, imagine if you would travel 200 years back into the past, or maybe 250 years, kind of just pre-industrial revolution, and you arrived, and people, for somehow, they knew you're from the future, you just arrived, people, oh my God, look, it's someone from the future, and you would be the most, you'd be the guest that everyone wanted to come. You'd be invited to all the parties, you'd be invited around to everyone's house, you'd be invited to the banquets, you'd be the guest of honor everywhere because you were from the future. People would be so excited to learn from you, this great, intelligent, futuristic person who must, come with all of this wisdom from the world of the future. And so they'd sit you down in their nice their cottage somewhere, give you some food. They've probably been spending most of their time as working outdoors or whatever. Or maybe you'll gather around in the local village pub or community hall, I don't know. And everyone's sat there eager to hear what the great man of the future, the great woman of the future has to say. And they say, so what do you do? And it's like, what do you do in your, what do you do in the future? And it's like, well, most of the time what we do is we, when we're not working or we're doing something, outside, we spend a lot of our times watching pictures move across a flat glass screen, and we just sit around this flat glass screen, whether it's in our home, we just watch these moving pictures, and that's what we do, whether it's television or on a computer. And that's actually what most people do now. In fact, it's become such a popular pastime that people carry around these glass screens in their hand, and they spend many hours of their days watching the little pictures move around on this glass screen. Yeah, that's about it. And they'll probably be like, oh, so you haven't colonized the moon? You haven't discovered the deepest depths of the ocean? You haven't solved all of the world disease? You haven't lifted everyone out of poverty? You literally just spend time looking at a flat piece of glass with some moving pictures on. Yep, pretty much. and that's how we talk to each other as well. You know, we even talk to each other like this. We very, you know, rarely actually go outside and meet up with friends, because now we can just actually talk to our friends on this flat piece of glass. It's great, you know. You don't even have to leave your bedroom. You just sit there and converse with people on this plane of glass. Yeah, great. It's so connected. We're so connected. You know, they would probably think, wow, what an absolute bunch of nutters they are in the future. That doesn't sound like a very fun world. That doesn't sound like a very human world. That doesn't sound like a world of connection and real community. And when you think about it, and when you look at it from that point of view, it really doesn't, you know? Don't get me wrong, I wouldn't be able to talk to you right now and tell you these things without the internet. I can't just completely blow it aside without recognizing that fact, and that is something very cool about it. But that's really what it should be for. It should be a tool that is utilized to make people's lives better, not make people's lives worse by making people feel like they're almost enslaved to it, which is really, when you walk around and you look at everyone hunched over on their smartphones, or the amount of time people spend online, is the case, because people are so afraid of missing out on something, but really they're missing out on their own life. So it's, in that respect, the internet can be very insidious in how it just weaves its way, weasels its way into your mind, and kind of alters gradually what you perceive to be important. Anyway, wow, 16 minutes. The internet is taking my time up. So there we go. I just wanted to share you some insights and share with you some of those, those maybe different way to look at things, because I found it quite thought-provoking, and I'm definitely now trying to use the internet incredibly less than I was. The way I'm doing it now is saying, if I use the internet, either it's because I have to, for kind of, you know, there's an email I have to check for work, or there is something that is, you know, it's just a chore that has to be done, or I'm using it to create something, like make a video and hopefully contribute something. But if I'm just using it to entertain myself or to pass the time, that's not a good sign, because it means that I am not giving myself enough time to really answer myself all the important questions of, you know, what am I doing with my life? Where am I going? What do I want to do? How do I want to spend my time and my existence? And all the things that most of us should spend a lot more time asking ourselves. You know, what makes me happy? What makes me feel, you know, joyful? Why do I actually want to be alive? What do I want to use my life for? If you're always just entertaining yourself and just always feeling this urge to know what's happening and to feed that information into you, you can't do that. So take an internet holiday, take a break, get away, and reconnect with yourself and reconnect with things that exist outside of this hive mind internet place, because it could be the only thing that really prevents us from becoming cyborgs. So yeah, there we go. Hope you've got something out of the video. It's been nice talking again. As you can see, I had some things to get off my chest, and see you again sometime soon. I won't say when, so just keep an eye out. Anyway guys, have a great day. Bye bye.